right. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to episode number 4 of the Director's Table. Today, we have the one, the only, the guy who needs no introductions, Mr. Michael GOnzales. Hello, Michael. How you doing? Me too. This is going to be fun. This is so different from our usual conversations. Perfect. So for those of you who, for some crazy reason, might not know who you are, go ahead and let us know what state you're out of and a little bit about the club that you also represent, in addition to being on the national team.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I am super lucky to be in the Pacific Northwest and out of the great state of Oregon. It's as, gorgeous and beautiful as any state comes. And so super excited and blessed to be out here. I've always been out here, born out here, and I'm always going to live out here. So definitely a Northwest kid. The club that I run is 503 Cornhole. And that idea for a name, I actually had kind of stolen or borrowed from somebody that I knew in like the early to mid 2010 era, where they were creating like T-shirts and things, and they had a shirt that said 503 on it, and they spelt the number 0 out with the word. And so then later, when it came time for me to like create a cornhole club many years later, for some reason that came to my head. And so I reached out to this person. I'm like, hey, would it be okay if I used, that slogan from your T-shirt? And there it was. So yeah, 503 Cornhole. And lucky enough for us too, out here, our club has seen so many great players come through it, and we've produced really talented players, and we've also just really produced a great like community of cornhole. So super proud to be part of that.
That's great. That's a really, really good story too. And that kind of goes into the next question. How did you first get started in cornhole? What started Mr. GOnzales' journey?
Yeah. I think probably similar to a lot of people. Like I was at a barbecue or something somewhere, and someone had cornhole set up, and like, I'll give it a little shot, give it a try. And then started thinking like, man, I could maybe be good at this, like I could be good at this. And so started playing at home and got some bags and got some boards at home. And then my next step was like, okay, I'm getting pretty good, I'm practicing, maybe I could play other people for money and like try to win some money. So like try to con people into coming over to my house who have never played cornhole or don't care to play cornhole, and like say, can we play for like $10 or $20, and like so it just kind of started there, and then grew from there and decided maybe I should run some events.
Okay, so running some events after kicking everyone's butt and taking all of their money. There you go. That's one way to do it.
And then, another big part of it too is like I was running cornhole events, 2015, 16, 17, just real small stuff. And then I was also coaching a lot of basketball, so super busy. And then once COVID hit in like 2019, 2020, and everything was shutting down, there was no more basketball and there was no more open gym time to use. And that's when I kind of really switched gears into like running some real tournaments, since basketball was like not available.
That's pretty neat. So then what led you into choosing the ACL as that sort of director path to really start running your tournaments and doing it that way?
Yeah, that's a great question. Early on when I was running tournaments, I didn't know that there was a big league out there. I didn't know that cornhole was as big as it was in, 2016, 2018 type year frame. I was just doing stuff at a bar or just, whatever. And once I learned that there was something bigger out there and the American Cornhole League was producing, standardized events and giving opportunity for people to earn points in these things, I instantly was hooked. And so I got in with the American Cornhole League pretty early, and it just kind of switched gears from what felt like just a tournament that you just slapped together to actually like running something that could feel like it had structure to it. And so I think that's what drew me into the ACL, was the structure. And then just meeting people. Like there's so many good directors out in the country. I feel blessed to have met so many of them. And the American Cornhole League really allows them all like come together as one big team. So
Yeah, that's 100% true. And I feel like that seems to be pretty similar to what a lot of directors seem to be saying. And is it sort of, guess how do I put it? Like, is it strange kind of looking back then and realizing that you are now a part of that structure that kind of drew you in and now you're a part of that bigger picture moving forward?
yeah, super strange, sometimes, and I'll just say this on here, I haven't said it a lot, but sometimes I feel like, why me, like imposter syndrome type thing, right? Where like I know there's so many good directors out there, and I'm just lucky enough to have um, got to a level where I get to help support and build structure for those directors. But that doesn't mean I'm a better director than anyone. This is crazy part. There's so many good directors out there. Just I feel blessed to be in this position.
That's wonderful. That's so good. Now, for a brand new director that would be starting out, so, think back to as you're trying to figure out how to become a director, what are some of those, things that you wish maybe that you would have known then that you would like to have known, I guess, ahead of time?
Yeah, I think one big thing you really got to think about, and I wasn't thinking about early on, is being a cornhole director is like it's a service to other people, and so you really got to be ready to be pleasing others. Um, some people come with the mindset like they want to earn points themselves or they want more practice themselves, which is fine, kind of entry level in. But if you really want to become a cornhole director, you've got to be doing it for other people. It can't just be for you. It won't work, And so I think cornhole directors and starting clubs, whatnot. Just really think about, are you somebody that enjoys service, or you want to be in like a customer service role almost, making sure that the players that are attending your events are happy, they feel satisfied, because I think that's a big part of it that people don't really consider is the customer service side.
Yes, customer service is definitely huge. And, even at the director's table, sometimes things are crazy, players are coming in a little upset. And so really being able to just say, hey, you're good, you're okay. And I think that's really, really good. And I know that was a really big push too. That you had with the opens, you made sure that all the directors and everyone, number one thing is just no matter what's going on, customer service is most important.
Yep. Yeah, it's important because without players, then there's no directors, right? And so, one goal of directors has got to be to keep players happy. And of course, you'll never make everybody happy. That's life. I mean, but if you are out there for the right reasons and you're trying to make, the best experience for players, then inevitably you'll be a good director.
That's true. Now, with all of the events that you've ran from, I guess, all the years that you've been running tournaments, do you have a couple of just favorite stories or a favorite memory that kind of you look back on every now and again?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. There's so many. It's hard to pick, but I gotta say, like, one thing that always stands out, and you have experience with this, I know a lot of directors around the country, like if you've had the opportunity uh, to be fired by Josh Keck while at an event, like that's a special opportunity. Like Josh Keck fired me at multiple opens when working with him, and although most of the time he was joking around, sometimes he was really wanting to like give you a kick in the butt because you were messing around, or you weren't doing something right, and so I learned a lot from Josh Keck. I take a lot of the things he talks about to heart, and I think getting fired by Josh Keck is a very special thing. So that was pretty cool. Um, and then just the second one, a little bit more of a serious note, is getting the opportunity to watch my kids play has been awesome. I distinctly remember when my son Hayden won the Oregon State Championship for the first time. He had an air drag to win the state championship in the final game, last moments of the game. And it was like, I mean, I basically teared up. Like, it was so crazy. He was like 15 years old. He shouldn't have been winning the state championship. And here he is, doing things that were beyond what most people thought he was capable of. And then, of course, now to look back, he's a multi-time state champion and conference champion, top 100 champion, all these crazy things. But um, watching him go through that was really cool. And then now, his brother Carter, who's a sophomore in high school, just won like the advanced singles state championship. And so it's like all of a sudden, like, here we go again, like we got another one. So that's been pretty cool.
That's amazing. And going to Hayden's journey, how crazy was it to see him go to college for cornhole?
Yeah, unreal. I mean, thinking back to your earlier question, like why ACL, right? Like ACL is literally investing in and creating pathways for players like my son Hayden to go. He's going to a Division I university right now on a partial scholarship. Like that is insane, right? Without cornhole, I'm confident he would not be at a Division I university right now. He might be at a community college or working a job somewhere, which is totally fine. But to have the opportunity through cornhole to go to a Division I university is just so amazing, and it's unbelievable. You tell people about it, people hear about it. It's really, really cool to be a part of.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And just thinking of, again, years ago when you first started and you first started seeing, Hayden play, and then now Carter sort of following that pathway, what are your thoughts? Do you think Carter's potentially on that same pathway? Is he going to go to school for cornhole maybe?
Well, it's definitely in the back of his mind, that's for sure. He hopes that well, he toured Winthrop just naturally while we're at Worlds, and he thought it was super cool. But he wants like University of Oregon or some other big school, University of Texas or someone to have cornhole as well. So he's hoping in the next couple of years that happens for him. He also really loves basketball and he really loves science and math and wants to be an engineer. So whatever he does, I'm sure he'll be great at it. I think cornhole is definitely in the cards.
100%. And what's so cool about that too is just thinking of all the different backgrounds that we have in cornhole. And in addition to that, just all the different types of jobs that cornhole is producing. You have, directors, you have load in and load out helpers, you have, Mr. Steve, who drives the semi, Daniel, who's a warehouse manager, production manager, handles everything. You have your broadcast team. There's just so many different facets, social media. Look at all of, these amazing social media groups that are now coming, some, youth who are becoming photographers and just really growing their own sort of businesses, but also, being able to just expand what it is that they're learning and wanting to do, and all through cornhole, which is the craziest thing.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's really, it's not all about cornhole throwing the bag itself, like you just said. Like to me, seeing the people create these social media outlets is really cool. Um, being able to work in events, right? There's some people do weddings, some people do, all these different types of events. Like a cornhole event is one of those things now. It can be a career. Where someone might say they're the director of events, right? Whether that means a wedding or a cornhole tournament. I mean, it's literally something you could do. And yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, for your club itself, kind of going back into it, do you have any specialty sort of, sponsors, partners, or anyone who sort of helps you guys, grow throughout the season and kind of allow, some additional incentives for your club in Oregon?
Yeah. So as a director, one thing I have always admitted I don't like to do and I'm bad at doing, frankly, is getting out and finding sponsors for the club. I don't enjoy that. I don't like the questions and back and forth. So I haven't never really put much thought or attention into it. And I see people like you who are just so amazing at it, right? And I look at them like, oh man, that's so, so cool. But honestly, like been really blessed in our area with some great people that want success in cornhole, and so they've done nothing but step up to help, even when I don't ask. And so, a really good friend, Jerry Dool, he's actually now a senior pro. He just became a cornhole pro for the first time. But Jerry has spent a lot of energy, a lot of time, and frankly, a lot of money in helping cornhole in Oregon and helping our club, be successful through sponsorship. So super thankful for Jerry. He had a bag company called 1 2 3 4 Bags. They just sold on online. and then he uses side or his actual business as well. So that's one person super thankful for. But the one that is current to cornhole, she helps me out all the time, and I will do anything I can to allow her to be at our events and help us anytime. Is Kelly Smith with Bag Queens. Bag Queens Cornhole has been super special in Oregon. She's from the Northwest. She lives here in Oregon, and I'm super proud of her to see where she's taken Bag Queens, and super thankful that she always helps us all the time.
That's wonderful. Yeah, she is a rock star, and she is just always high energy and always positive. I can't even think of a time where I've ever, seen her, and I don't know her as well, but every time she's just incredibly kind. So that's always a huge positive.
Yep. And so, yeah, anytime somebody in our area, comes up with a cornhole business idea, I want to be supportive of it. But then to see it become successful, like what Kelly's done with Bag Queens, is super special. There's a new group out there. I'll just give them a shout out in Oregon. It's called Nice Throw Shop. It's a new website that's popped up and working with ACL specifically. All the ACL licensees are getting onto their website. So if you just go to nicethrowshop.com, you can buy BG bags, Lockpick bags, Dragon bags, all ACL branded stuff through their website. And so that's another Oregon guy I want to support, and definitely want to give him a shout out.
That's great. Yeah, I've actually seen him all over Facebook, so I didn't know that he was out of Oregon. That's pretty cool to know. Awesome. Well, there you go. So make sure everyone that you check them out, find them on Facebook as well, and make sure that you follow them. Now, with everything kind of changing and growing, and of course, you definitely know more so than a lot of folks, but what would you say with the changes that had happened for this coming season, now having the ability to have pros within the state level? Is that sort of change any dynamics within Oregon because of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think when that first announced last year, I had people in Oregon coming right to me and saying how excited they were. They had kind of feared that things were getting dull and people weren't enjoying it any longer. And this kind of brought a spark back, even if you don't want to be a pro, but just have the opportunity to chase something like that within your state. As we've always talked about, like having representatives is important, and it gives people notoriety and allows them to feel like they're a part of something. And so, yeah, the movement and this path that we're on is special. I know the people in Oregon can feel it for sure.
That's wonderful. And now with the season officially kicked off, we have tons of really, really good programs. So you have the player engagement program, which literally you just play and you get to earn points. Same thing on the other side with the directors. So anyone who wants to become a director, you also earn points just for running events. You can earn tons of really, really good rewards and prizes and some pretty cool recognition, new jerseys that are going to be posted probably soon. Actually, I'm sure by the time this episode drops, the jerseys will have already been posted. But those things are pretty neat. Now, does that kind of help anything that you're doing in Oregon that kind of gives you an additional incentive to offer players as well?
Yeah, I think it's important as cornhole directors to really use those as tools to kind of keep players engaged, because not everyone's going to come win your events and not everyone's chasing your regional points. But if players can just come out and earn points, even if they're not good at cornhole, really be able to use that as a tool to keep them energized. Something I want to do more of this year. I did kind of throughout last season make posts in Oregon about engagement points and where standings were and whatnot. I'm just looking for that to kind of take the next level this season, as the prices have gotten better, and now there's just so many different pathways for players. So I saw the jersey that was posted about the Open winners, so I'm super excited to see the PEP and the DEP jerseys.
Yeah, those ones are going to be pretty neat. I think players will be thoroughly surprised for that. Now, with that, there is an open that is also going to be coming near you as well. We also have the open standings challenge. So do you think that's something that is really going to get a lot of players excited as well to try to, earn that? Because it's 1,000 players are going to earn something by the end of the season.
Yeah, super cool. And I think it's something that not all players have caught on to yet, that the open standings are back. and there's an open challenge for 1,000 players. But with the open coming up to the Northwest this year, yeah, players are excited. They can't wait for it already. It's not until June, and here we are in October, and people are talking about that event in June. And so, super excited to have an open coming up to our area. And yeah, I think once directors and players really catch on to the open standings and the open challenge, it's going to really take off, and it's going to be really cool.
That's wonderful. Now, do you have anything else that you would want to kind of shed some light on? Any words of wisdom before we jump on off?
That's a good question. I think I don't have anything at the moment, any words of wisdom. I'm just super excited to be a part of the team and have so many great directors around us that we all get to be part of a team and just support our players and grow the sport of cornhole to be something really special.
That's exciting. That makes me excited. I'm super pumped for the season. I think everyone's going to be pumped. Lots of communications, lots of emails, posts. So we have a ton of stuff that's coming out. If you didn't get a chance or you weren't sure what we were talking about with some of the programs, right here you have iplayacl.com/DEP for all things director related for the points. Exact same thing, but with PEP at the end as well for the player engagement program. And then, of course, the Open Challenge. So if this is your very first time hearing about any of those, that's exactly where you get to go ahead and check all of those out. So thank you so much, Michael, for jumping on, and everyone gets to kind of hear a little bit about you that maybe they didn't know something. So hopefully they've learned something and they might talk to you at some of the opens coming up.
Cool. I'll be ready. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. We have a ton of other directors that we'll be featuring for the rest of the season, so we cannot wait for you guys to meet every single one of them. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you all again next week. Bye.
Cool. Thank you.